of our cover here. And you can, on this part, if you want to conserve cardstock, you can wait and put your pattern paper down. I'm going to go ahead and put cardstock down because I want to finish this album cover inside and out and have it ready to go. I might have smaller pieces of paper or piece paper or something that I want to do differently on the inside or need to do differently. So I am going to go ahead and put solid cardstock, Kraft cardstock on there. Now I have first the piece for the over the spine area. You want to do this and it reinforces it really well. So you cut one piece of cardstock that is 5 inches wide by 10 3/8 because we don't want it the full 10 1/2. We don't want to risk it hanging over. Now I did use score tape sheet on this because I do want to make sure it sticks down really well, no bubbling, because this is where the hinges of my pages are going to go. So grab something here to peel this back. This is a score tape sheet, so I've already put it on this one. But ahead of time enough to put that on. And then you're going to place this so that it covers the spine area and the folds. So you get it on centered as best you can. It's not going to be a big issue, but you do want it centered and straight, top to bottom. Pretty good. Okay, so you just go ahead and stick that down real good. And then you're going to take your bone folder. Going to raise your cover up slightly. Just gradually burnish in that fold right there. Okay, and you want to do that on both sides. So find it gradually. See where the bend starts, and with a very well rounded bone folder, we start working that. And then it starts folding up. Kind of bend it this way, and I kind of bend it that way. And there's the album cover wrapped. So I'm ready to put it inside. These two pieces I cut to 10 3/8 by 10 3/8. And they're going to match up over this piece here. And I'm going to line it up just inside of that. So if you want to use score tape, you can. I'm going to go ahead and use glue on this one. You want enough glue, but you don't want too much glue, so that's why I like to use that middle tip on there. And then right down here, we're going to line it up. And burnish that down. Bring my fold back up again, and it should not be over that fold. It is just right on the edge of it, like that. So we're going to do this other side now. So that just gives a nice finished place to work in there, depending on the different elements that I'm going to do, or pockets, or whatever I decide I want to put in the covers of this album. I have the pages planned, but not the inside covers just yet. Kind of depends on how much paper I actually have to work with, so I want to make sure I have enough on my pages and everything. Slide this over. Okay, sit down. And the album cover is ready. So I'm going to stop for a bit and decide if I want to go ahead and put patterned paper on it or just go ahead and get the pages in. And do the pages first, and we'll stop, and then I'll start and show you how to make the pages. And for the pages for the 10 by 10 album, I've already cut my Kraft cardstock, which is the Artisan from Country Craft Creations. I will try to do a cut list so that you will have the measurements for what you need, but I will be giving them as I go. If I don't have them in a separate PDF file, I'll try to have it in the description of the video. So first we're going to start with our base pages. So I'm just going to set these aside and I will give you the measurements as I score them. So we need 3 for the base. So I have 3 cut. This is going to have 3 sets in this album. So these are cut 10 inches by 10.5. So we're going to score our 10.5 side at 1/2 inch. So I'm going to lay these aside here. I did for this stack that I have cut, because I would maybe adding more to it as I go for the inside of the covers and different things like tags and stuff. But so far I have used 15 sheets of the 12 by 12 Kraft Artisan Cardstock. So you'll need 15 sheets. So let's go ahead and score these 3 pieces on the 10.5 side. Put that at the top so that the lines are coming down. And you're just going to score at 1/2 inch. This will be our hinge to put these in the album, because I use the L hinges. So I'm going to get all 3 of these done. Okay, those are the pages. Put these over here on my other table. Next, we're going to have full page flaps. So I cut 3 of these. And these are 10 inches wide by 10 tall. And we're only going to score one 10-inch side at 1/2 inch. So you put it in. It doesn't matter because these are all 10 by 10. So you score it at 1/2 inch. Okay. So these are our full page flaps. And since we have the scoreboard out, we're going to go ahead and prep some of the other pieces. And next we want some horizontal flaps. So I have 2. This is for 1 page set. So I have 2 of these cut, and they are horizontal flaps. I got the wrong ones, I think. Let me think a minute. Yes, these are correct. Horizontal, 8.5 wide by 6 inches tall. So that's what was throwing me. So the 8.5 wide side is where we're going to score at 1/2 inch. So you have 2 of these, 8.5 wide, 6 inch tall. Score on your 8.5 side at 1/2 inch. That. If you need to use a sticky note and label this, I ran out of sticky notes, but that does help a lot in getting these labeled, or you can write with pencil lightly in the middle. Next, you want 4 corner flaps. So I have 4 of these that I cut 6 inch by 6 inch. So only all the same sides. So you only want to score one side at 1/2 inch. I'm calling these the 4 corner flaps. Okay. Next, in this big 10 by 10 book, we're going to do full page waterfalls. That means they go all the way across the page, which is 10-inch size, so that's a good size. So I cut 10 of these at 10 inches wide by 6 inches tall. So you're going to use 5 sheets of 12 by 12 cardstock for this. So you need 10 cut at 10 wide by 6 tall. Now we're going to score on our 6-inch side at a 1/2 inch on all of these, so I will be speeding up the video while I do this. Okay, so we have all of our full page waterfalls scored and ready for the book. And you're going to want to close your piece. Now this is cut from a scrap. You have plenty of this size. They're 2 inches wide. And this one is 10.5 long. And I'm going to score on this 10.5 side at just a 1/2 inch. So this will be our magnetic closure piece for the waterfall. And then we probably will want some pockets. I think I want at least 2 pockets. So these can be vertical or horizontal because it's a 10 by 10 page. So I cut these. Cut 2 at 11 by 4.5. Now then, we're going to make pockets. So we're just going to go ahead and score this. The 4.5 side at a 1/2. Okay. Turn it back so that the 11 inches at the top, you're going to score at 10.5 and at a 1/2. And do the same on the other one. 4.5 at the top, score at a 1/2 inch. Turn, 11 inch at the top, score at 1/2 inch, and at 10.5. If it's easier for you to just do 1/2 inch only, just flip this around and do it on this side. So as long as it's 1/2 inch on each end, you're good. So this is a pocket, and I'm going to go ahead and miter cut the corners. Where the intersections meet, just make a cut. It takes away a lot of the bulk from your folds there. And then if you want, let's just go ahead and trim from the fold line to at a little angle on these tops. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it can make it easier to slide things in and out of the pockets. That, sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. So it's just, you know, if you think about it, great. If you don't, it's not going to be a disaster. But so there's the pocket. And then I want a couple of booklets. So I took 1 sheet of the 12 by 12 cardstock, cut it in half at 6, so these are 6 inches by 12, and you're going to score, and sometimes on these you may have to check and see if they're true 12. If not, you may have to trim just a smidge off. That one seems to be pretty well okay. What I'm going to do is score at 4 along the 12 inch. And at 8 on both pieces. And these will fold up to be booklets to put inside of your album. So we already have these made. Okay, so we're ready to start assembling the pages. So we have the 3 base pages for our page sets. We're going to do 3 of those. So the base page has our hinge that goes into the album. So these were cut again at 10.5 wide by 10. We scored the 10.5 side at a 1/2 inch. So we're going to fold and burnish each of our hinges right here. Now I know this is different than the normal hinge that you see. Usually you see a hidden hinge or something where your pages are built and slipped on the spine. I just like the convenience of the L shape. I have not had any problems. You do need to use really good quality cardstock. The Artisan is a really good quality. I have had no problems with tearing or pulling out. That is your own personal choice on how you do that. You could reinforce this with some Scotch tape, like a mat. I have done that in the past if I felt that I needed it, but I don't always think that I need it. Also, you can change this size. If you want to use the hidden hinge system, you would have to make another page to go on top of this. You would need to change the size of this from 10.5 to 11. Score on two sides, 1/2 inch and at 10.5. And then you would take another piece, cut 10 by 10, and glue that on top of each hinge so that you would have the open pocket and you could slide it on. So you can certainly convert that if you want, but I am going to be using the L hinge. Sometimes maybe I will make an album with the traditional hidden hinge and show you how to do that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and quickly fold and burnish all these hinges for my base pages. Okay, we're going to build up our pages out of the album, but not necessarily decorate them out of the album. So we're going to get them assembled and then get them into the book so that you can decorate it any way that you want to. I will show you what I do with mine at the end. Now again, these are the full page flaps. So these were cut at 10 wide by 10 tall, scored on 1 10-inch side at 1/2 inch. This is going to make your full page flaps, even though they're called full page, not quite full page all the way, and there's a reason for that. So you want to burnish these. Let me grab a page and show you. If you attach this to the opposite side, this gives you some leeway here so that you're not hanging up when you turn your page. So you want a little space here. You could actually make it just a 1/4 inch if you wanted to, but for scoring it's easier to do the 1/2 inch for the tutorial, so I did the 1/2 inch. And we can also attach this at the top if we want to. So it doesn't really matter. It just depends on where you want your flaps to be. So let me go ahead and finish these two. Okay, so here's the flaps and here is the pages. Now, the first page, the hinge is going to go for as a spacer. I want a 1/2 inch from the cover. So I'm going to put this hinge right here on the left side. So this is the front of my page. Now, do I want the flap here on the front, or do I want it on the back? And I think I'm going to put it on the front, and I think I'm going to put it here on the right side. So you line up the folded edge of this hinge right along this cut side. So I am going to use glue. You can certainly use score tape if you want to, but I'm going to go ahead and use glue for this. As soon as I get it going again. Okay. So go ahead and get your glue on. There's an easy way to use score tape if you want to use score tape where you only pull down a little bit at a time and just, stick it down that way and get it straight. Glue gives me just a couple of seconds of wiggle room, so I kind of like that. Because if I lay it down a little crooked, and I'm doing it holding it up instead of flat so I don't get my head in the way. But you want to make sure it's even on the top and the bottom, and that you have it right along the cut edge, and then go ahead and burnish it. So that's how you do the page flap, and then I'm going to stick there and then burnish that. So that is the base pages put together. Now we're ready to start adding on different elements that we've already cut.